What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the blue color, playing as Loki. His name is Matreiuss. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Set, ladies and gentlemen. His name is Kimo. He's got to be happy about this one. Rolling his Set into Matreiuss's Loki. Man, there's some dangerous gods out there in Matreiuss's arsenal for a Set player. And honestly, Matreiuss should feel pretty comfortable playing any of the gods in his arsenal that make life hard for Set, namely Poseidon on this map. But he goes with the Loki. He's been having a lot of success with Loki in this tournament. And this must be one of the first actual counter picks we've seen of the Loki with Kemo. Sniffing it out, and he decides to pick his Set here. So we'll see how things are going to go in this series and what Kemo is going to be able to come up with playing Set here. Now, there are several different strategies which are very, very strong for Set against Loki. My personal favorite is the 348 advance from Set into a classical fight, utilizing the shifting sands to either jump onto unsuspecting hunters in the kind of early mid-game kind of situation that you can pick off every single one of those villages at around about, I would say, 6 to 7 minutes once they move on to that second hunt source. You're just shifting sands onto them. They can't run away. You bring your pharaoh, you bring your priest, you bring your animals, you bring all the spears and axemen. Life becomes hard for the Loki player there. The other option to use shifting sands here with that classical fight is also as a defensive movement to completely block flaming weapons from being a thing. Effectively, you force the flaming weapons defensively by pushing forward. Your opponent clicks flaming weapons unknowingly, as you can just shifting sands into your home base and even take some units with you, kill those, and just move along like nothing ever went wrong. Opponent down to flaming weapons, and it can be great. Lots of different options here for Set. However, Loki does have like many gods against Set, Loki does have the advantage in the late game here against Set. Going for the late game here is not really an option for the Set player in this matchup. Why? Fire Giants are too strong for Set to deal with. If Loki can get to the Mythic Age here, 9 times out of 10, the Loki player will have a really, really good time, and that's going to be a problem that Kemo is going to have to overcome. Now, Loki does have to worry about funeral rites priests, but as always, the aim for Norse in the late game, when concentrating on a single area of the map, is going to be getting Ballista out. And Ballista are incredibly efficient at taking out the priests, as the priests don't have the range to hit the fire giants, and can be completely fine. Now, we are seeing Matreiuss going for his now stock standard Loki opener, where he decides to put 2 gatherers on gold and only builds 2 dwarves. It's a very similar advance time to normal. He's going for the 11 villages on food and wood with 4 villages on gold, but instead of there being dwarves, he goes for 2 gatherers, slowing his gold income down ever so slightly, but also saving the gold on those dwarves. Whether it's better or not, leave that one up to you guys to decide. We are seeing Forcetti coming through here for Matreiuss. Kemo on this position here is going through Tar here, and he does decide to build some priests. Has he gotten himself the upgrade? He hasn't gotten himself his upgrade on the priests just yet. Getting the priests out first, and then maybe getting himself that Hands of the Pharaoh a little bit later. Getting ready to go for that shifting sands. Villagers idle in the middle of the map need to start moving. There are Zebra right in front as the hyena moves around, trying to find everything. Oh, I love that wall by Matreiuss. If the shifting sands comes onto this position, which it looks like it's going to, the villagers have a very safe retreat route through that wall, but he decides to not use it. He's retreating back the other way. One villager down. The Hearse are coming through to start helping out. The villagers could have turned around and actually started shanking here to take out a lot of those priests really, really fast. As another villager falls, the Pharaoh Wadjet, or where the Wadjet is dead, but the Pharaoh and priest going now after the Hearse are on this position as Matreiuss needs to pull back into his main base. He gets an Einhyar spawn. That's not going to help him out in the slightest. He manages to pick off one of those hyenas with the Einhyar as the Hearse retreats back. Matreiuss is now down to 4 gatherers only for his food. He pulls one off of the wood here as he's got another villager over here that has actually managed to escape. But Matreiuss in a very difficult position here as the Hearse are trying to come around, trying to snipe the Pharaoh on this position. Snipes those animals are set, not going to be able to bring those back to eat, as we do see an attempt at a ghost building here as Matreiuss is trying to stop the retreat path of this Pharaoh. If he can pick that off, it's a significant amount of damage done to Kemo's economy here, but the Axeman comes in and now the Hearse will have to retreat back. Dealing with an Axeman's very tough. The Troll is still here as the Hearse coming through to still try and take out that Pharaoh. This Hearse will be ending up going down. Good micro there from Kimo as Matreiuss doesn't manage to make it done in any significant fashion there. He sniped a priest but loses a Hearse for it. That is value for Kimo. The priest going to be able to heal the units back up. We're also seeing Axeman, Spearman coming out here for Kimo as Matreiuss going to have to pull back. The other thing that's a problem for Matreiuss in this game is that his gold mine is really, really open here, which means you can push in and hit this one in a very, very terrifying fashion. All the golds are forward here. If Kimo wants to get aggressive, he's going to be able to make that happen as the hyena getting sniped down here to not attack his villagers. And we'll see how things are going to go. There's still a little bit of hunt left in the main base. Matreiuss dropping himself another longhouse, realizing he needs to start making some raiding cavalry here to stay alive. But dealing with the Egyptian army in the early game here with Loki is really, really tough. You do want to go Hearse, or you do want to go for raiding cavalry, but how do you deal with the Axeman, Spearman, which counter your units so well? I guess throw an Axeman at this point as well are going to be some sort of a necessity here for Matreiuss. Matreiuss is still in front on the score, however. He's down 4 villages, which is a big deal, but he does have a handful of dwarves on gold, which basically means he's only down maybe 3 villages or maybe 2 villages in terms of income. So things are not that terrible for Matreiuss. He also doesn't have the shifting sands to worry about as the unit's pushing forward. Kimo paying attention there really, really nicely as Matreiuss is going to be pulling back home for the time being here. And we'll see how things are going to go as the Hall of Thanes coming through here at this point. Now the villagers moving up to the zebra on this position here, looking to grab that hunt back. He does have the nice walls up here as well, but the hyena is in position and sees that. Matreiuss has to be careful here, but so does Kimo. You can't misposition this army. It can be really, really dangerous to misposition the army here for the set play. You can get caught out as we see Hammer Troll coming through as well for Matreiuss wanting to deal with this, but the priests are out and they've got 14 range, and the Pharaoh's also got quite a bit of range himself at 12 range to take out those trolls. So you have to keep them in a very, very defensive position as he pulls them back onto the healing spring, almost getting taken out here as Kimo is pushing directly in to the base here. One Axeman falling there as the trolls do stay alive. You can heal them back up on that healing spring there as some throw an Axeman coming out. Matreiuss has got himself 100 gold left. He can move up and try and grab this gold mine on the top side of the map there for the time being if he so chooses. His villagers are onto the herdables in his main base for the time being. Population differential is favoring Kimo at this point. And we'll see what Matreiuss's decisions are going to be moving forward. He can keep making the trolls for a while. The dwarves can return back over onto the medium gold mine. With the spy on the Pharaoh here from Matreiuss, he can get a really nice surround on this army and try and engage here as the raiding cavalry dive straight in onto that Pharaoh. He's going to be able to take that out, which is going to allow the trolls to do some significant damage from afar here. But the 2 priests are still alive, and he's still going to be very careful with those. if the priests get taken out, those trolls are going to carry this fight for Matreiuss, but he's not being able to focus them down. Kimo has positioned his units quite nicely here as the hammer troll still staying alive on the back. One of the big advantages of the troll, little known, is that the trolls, every time they throw a rock here, they actually get health back. Every damage they do, they have like a little bit of a leech or something. They steal that HP away. As the priest retreats back, the trolls are going to be able to stand strong here against the rest of this army, and Kimo will have to retreat back. He will have to get himself some more priests out, as this one's only 8 HP remaining. The troll's still getting some good damage done as the Herso comes in, snipes that priest, and he will be losing that, but that means Kimo has to retreat back, and Matreiuss survives another day. A beautiful usage of the trolls thus far from Matreiuss. He's got himself 34 favor remaining here, and Kimo, he needs priests out if he wants to continue in this game. Otherwise, Matreiuss is going to be able to have full reign of the map here. But Matreiuss pulls back a little bit, respecting of the fact that Priest can come out and he doesn't want to get himself caught out with those trolls, which only move at 4.0 speed. It can be a difficult thing there, as we do see the units moving up to the top side of the map, looking to hit the gatherer with the 3 ox carts on it. But with those trolls being here, I'm not even sure if that army can take out the 4 trolls and a handful of other units here. We'll see how it's going to go as the army comes through onto this position. The trolls are going to be able to heal themselves back up to boot as he snipes one unit straight away, though. Those trolls are doing so much damage. The Herso falls, raiding cavalry retreating back. Another troll moving into this fight as the villagers pulling back, and even more units are falling here as the raiding cavalry searching around trying to find something of Kimo's to take out. Kimo grabbed himself the pickaxe at this point. The villagers pulled back, but they can move back. There's only 90 food left on this location. Gazelle down the bottom, Giraffe in the middle here. Matreiuss might want to be thinking about grabbing a second town center at this point. Generally speaking, against the classical fight of the set, second town center is generally the best way to go about it. Staying one town center tends to lean into the favor of the Egyptian player in these sorts of situations. There's also the Oseberg wagon here. Not the most important relic in this current situation, but it's an S tier relic that I'm surprised Kimo has ignored for the time being here. As the raiding cavalry moving across, the hardest part for Matreiuss is about to start. He's got himself those 6 hammer trolls. With the Pharaoh out, the trolls die incredibly fast as the raiding cavalry are not in position. He's going to be retreating back for the time being, staying away from the priest, staying away from the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh does have 4.0 speed only, so the trolls can pull away, as we're now seeing the raiding cavalry coming back in onto this position. And Matreiuss knows all he needs to do is snipe down the Pharaoh, and he should be okay here. And maybe he should be turning around and taking this fight with the villagers as well, instead of retreating back. He's going to be losing a lot of HP on those trolls as he pulls away. This troll might even go down as the raiding cavalry swing in to take down the Pharaoh on this position. Villagers turning around, taking that fight as best as they can, as the Pharaoh is still getting slapped down there. It does end up falling. One priest remaining as those raiding cavalry still trying to get in onto those, as the villagers moving up, trying to get to those Giraffe in the center of the map there, as the priest still going after the hammer troll here. No micro from Matreiuss to pull that one away, but it's going to be able to stay alive, and Matreiuss's army has to retreat yet again. But the villagers retreat through the gate, going to be able to stay alive for the time being. The hammer trolls held for the time being here. Kimo is still pumping units out. He's got a significant villager lead at this point as well. As he retreats back with these units, the villagers still trying to make their way in onto the giraffes with those trolls here to help out. Matreiuss has left quite a few of them in the back here as the army has to pull away for the time being. We see Hall of Thanes coming through for Matreiuss as well, as he wants to start getting some more Herso out. So it's only 3 Axemen here. That's a really, really strong decision here from Matreiuss. If he can get a ton of Herso out, he will be able to clean those spearmen up really, really easily. As another priest coming in onto this battle here, doesn't have to worry too much about that one with the trolls in the back sniping units here. The Herso coming around onto the back to try and deal with this. If Matreiuss pulls his hammer trolls back, and he's trying to do so, he should be okay here as the Herso comes over to start dealing with this one. Hammer troll pulls. Kimo has to keep focus firing, and he might be able to continue making his way through here as the villagers are falling, and Matreiuss has to pull back as he cannot get any more hunt in. He's not able to get those Herser out that he really wanted here. Shaftmine coming through for Kimo as well, as it looks like Kimo now has found himself a significant advantage in this game as he's taken out those hammer trolls. There's only 3 left at this point. The villagers on this gold can get pushed off as well. Kimo hasn't quite worked that one out as the spearman is searching around. Thank you for the 6 months, by the way, Mr. MG. Appreciate that one, my friend. There's a handful of goats left in the main base as well as the villagers pull in over here. 51 villagers to 33 is a huge advantage as now Kimo's grabbing himself that second town center to boot. Villagers still eating hunt here in the main base onto the goats here. Kimo can also make himself some gazelle of set if he wants to, make a second monument and continue getting himself a ton of food income as the raiding cavalry do manage to find some villagers over here. Matreiuss trying to micro this one to the best of his ability as Kimo going to be losing some units there. More units pushing across the map at this point here for Matreiuss. He's going to be searching for something to do here as the spearmen getting taken down. Villagers moving up to the top middle portion of the map here as the spearmen coming through to check out those raiding cavalry and everything else that's going on in that position. The raiding cavalry pulling back for the time being here. The trolls pushing forward as well. Villagers in the middle going to be looking to grab that town center, it seems. Kimo's a big fan of just going several town centers in the middle of the game as Nephthys is clicked through, and now there's no Herser for Matreiuss to deal with the ancestors, though he does have those trolls, which are going to be a decent usage to kind of deal with the answers. But there's so many priests out now for Kimo. He also has that Hands of the Pharaoh, so he's going to have a little bit more range. And then as soon as that heroic age hits, the priests go up to like 20 range, so the trolls stop being useful in a big way. It's beautiful micro from Matreiuss as he's pulling those priests back nicely. But the units of Matreiuss are just simply put not holding here and not able to take those priests out fast enough as the trolls are continually getting pushed back. There's the heroic age from Kimo, and Matreiuss in that position decides to tap out as Kimo shows how strong Set can be in this matchup. Matreiuss couldn't work it out after that shifting sands came through. Kimo blocks the villagers from running through this gate. I feel like he should have just ran through it. He probably would have lost 1 villager only, and he wouldn't have lost any Herser. He could have just pulled back. It would have been it was a great idea here. And I mean, the other thing is that once the vision came down, Matreiuss could have just pulled the villagers towards the gate preemptively as well, or even gone for a bit more of a scout in the early game, seen the priests getting built here, and then just pulled the villagers back home as another idea. But Kimo getting that early game advantage allows him to get himself a significant amount of advantage here to pull through in this game. You can see the real difference here isn't in unit lost versus unit killed. It's just in the military count. Resources here are favoring Kimo, and Matreiuss, he just could not pull himself back into this game. Even with the villager differential here at this point in the game, it's still advantage Matreiuss for resources, but he just could not find the advantage enough in this game to with those extra resources to push through, as Kimo was hard countering the army too well. I definitely think if he'd managed to get onto this hunt, for example, instead of pushing for this hunt, like grab this elephant and then just left, pushed over here, grabbed these gazelle and went back into Herser, it would have been obviously Kimo could have gone back into Axeman, but he would have been able to win another army with those Herser, and that would have given him a huge boost in terms of myth units as well, and favor to produce more myth units as well, but he couldn't quite manage to make that work. If you guys enjoyed this one, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.